8 yards, over 100 yards for Tampa Bay. So Jacksonville just not getting any kind of offense established, needs to get it going.
And we begin the second half with a kickoff by Mike Hollis. And back deep for Tampa Bay, this is Jerry Ellison, who is back there with Bobby Joe Edmonds. They're trying to get Ellison worked into the running game and the kickoff receiving game a little bit more. And he has a good return across the 35, brought down by James Williams. The first half numbers for Trent Dilfer: no interceptions. There have been no turnovers by either team.
No interceptions yet, but his balls have been sailing so high on some of these long passes. He's lucky to this point not to have an interception.
And they begin with Eric Rett in the backfield for that familiar 7 yards and behind the line of scrimmage. Says he gets a better view of the holes, and they give it to Rett. Well, there was no hold of view there, as he's brought down very quickly. Keith Goganius, the leading tackler for Jacksonville, led the defensive stop. And the first half possessions for Tampa Bay, just the field goal and the touchdown. The rest of the time, not much.
Yeah, the field goal was the only substantial drive that they had been able to establish all day long.
So really no gain at all by Rett. Second down and 10, and Dilfer to throw. And his pass in and out of the hands of Horace Copeland. And that is just, and really in Dilfer's defense, Jackie Harris dropped a couple of passes in the first half, and now Horace Copeland should have held on to that one.
And also, you're going to see on the right side of your screen, Vinnie Clark, number 27, just stones him in the back. But before he even makes the contact, it's on Copeland. He's going to go up, and the ball's going to hit him in the hands and just bounce right off.
There is Vinnie Clark, who's taken a lot of heat in Jacksonville, giving up some touchdowns. But so far solid today. Third down and 10 from the 35. Opening drive of the second half. Dilfer firing across the field. Another one is juggled around. Vinnie Clark again. And that was pretty good defensive coverage as he converged on Alvin Harper. So 3 and out for the Buccaneers, and limping out is Vinnie Clark.
Well, he was limping after the last play and looked like he was a little bit sore. He started to follow Harper inside, saw the other receiver breaking out, hesitated for a second, but was able to recover in time to make the play on Harper.
So Reggie Roby with a good punt, taken by Howard at the 11. Skirts one tackle, tries to go left, and gets no farther than the 20-yard line. Jacksonville trailing 10-0. We'll begin there when we come back. From this 10-point deficit, they'll have to do it without their leading receiver. Willie Jackson out of the game, will not return. He has a knee injury. Also defensively, they have lost Jeff Lageman. He has a foot injury and will not return. So Brunell and the Jaguars begin their first series of the second half at the 20, and firing to Ernest Givens. That is only Ernest's second reception of the game, and he is up to the 28-yard line. Charles Dimry on the coverage. And
we see the first half of the Jacksonville Jaguars and why they only have 4 first downs. Every possession except for one is a punt. And the only other one is because of halftime game.
Jacksonville has only been in Buccaneers territory one time in the first half. They reached the 37-yard line. And a pitch here to Dunbar. Looking for the first down. He should get it. Just needed to get across the 30. Kenneth Gant, along with Hardy Nickerson, made the stop. Rushing today, the story not good. Dunbar, the leading rusher, with just 17 yards. But we mentioned that Brunell is the leading rusher on this team, and he's got just 2 yards.
Right. I mean, Brunell's numbers, he was averaging 7.1 yards per rush, and they've got him down under a yard today.
Difficult position, though, for Jacksonville. You need more rushing yards, but you don't exactly have plays called rushing for Brunell. He's getting most of his yards, just broken plays.
Yep.
And this is James Stewart, and he's got a good pickup across the 40.
Well, nice job, nice stutter play. Nice kind of counter OT. You're going to see DeMarco, 73, the rookie tackle, pulling around, leading the block there to seal it off for him. DeMarco at 321 pounds, taking out one of the corner safeties, corners of safety that came up for the support, just crushing him.
There's the mammoth rookie tackle out of Michigan State, the second-round pick. Stewart does pick up the first down, and passing on first down to Pete Mitchell, another first down. This inside the Tampa Bay 25.
Well, they put Mitchell on the right side of your screen. You're going to see him. They're going to throw to him along the sideline there, matched up against number 55, Derek Brooks, and Mitchell just getting a couple of steps on him. But again, Brunell on some of these passes really just amazing us with the accuracy of the throw. Very well put, very well thrown. Didn't even get to enjoy the fruits of his labor there.
So Brunell with a big strike to Mitchell, and Jacksonville is the deepest it's been in Tampa territory all game long. Down to the 21-yard line is Dunbar. So without Willie Jackson, perhaps we'll see a lot of Pete Mitchell in the second half.
Well, they're getting a lot of good penetration up front on Tampa Bay's defense. Jacksonville's offense on some of these sprint draws type of plays, they're instead of attacking, they're kind of sidestepping and then making their move into the defensive line. But by that time, Tampa Bay's defense is really attacking and getting some good penetration.
Well, there is the third quarter woes experienced by Jacksonville this season. And they trail it 10-0. Brunell avoiding one tackler on the run. Pump fakes and gets out of bounds at about the 17-yard line, or 18. And Ahanatu was giving chase.
Well, they felt pass right from the beginning. You could tell from the way that they were attacking. They were going after Brunell right from the snap.
Well, Jacksonville inside the red zone has been one of the more efficient teams in the NFL, and we've worked up this splendid graphic for you to show you. Well, 3rd and 5. Did you see that splendid graphic, Bob?
Eventually, hopefully.
Help me out here. Brunell under pressure again, avoids 1, 2 tacklers. And this is what Brunell does best. Picks up the first down to the 6. And that, described by Kevin Gilbride, has been the offense for Jacksonville this season. And we've talked about
the splendid animation
in the red zone. The Jaguars have been, well, very efficient. In fact, they would run through a brick wall for Coach Tom Coughlin. 16 touchdowns, 26 times.
What would you do that dance?
Inside the red zone.
Would you do that dance for Coughlin?
Oh, the big buildup, and it certainly equaled the buildup. Well, that is Stewart. Stop short inside the 5-yard line. And that'll bring up 2nd down and goal.
Well, they've gotten one out of Brunell what they like to get. He's brought some excitement by making things happen on his own. As you said before, Dan, none of these plays for him are called. They're not telling him to go out there and run the ball. But he's a guy that when he gets in trouble, a more experienced quarterback would probably scramble a little bit and spend a little bit of time trying to find a receiver. Brunell, on the other hand, unless he sees somebody real quick, he's going to go and take the ball himself, get some yardage.
Von Dunbar is the deep back for Brunell. And to give to Dunbar. Nice tackle there by number 93, Demetrius DeVos. We mentioned Jacksonville's efficiency as an offense inside the 20, but the Tampa Bay defense just about as impressive. 2nd in the NFL only to the 49ers. As far as touchdown percentage goes, just 7 opponents' touchdowns all season. Rusty Tillman in his first year as defensive coordinator with Tampa Bay.
Well, this is the matchup we've been looking for then.
3rd and goal from the 4. And Brunell firing to the end zone and almost picked off by Charles Dimry. That'll bring up 4th and goal, and we'll see a field goal try, short one, for Tom Coughlin's team. He wanted the touchdown, and they didn't get it.
Good job by Dimry. Over on the right side of your screen, Dimry's going to be working on Curtis Marsh. Dimry, good position right there, and almost well enough to make the reaction to get the ball. See Mark Brunell after the throw and starting to make that break for the sidelines, thinking Dimry may have made the interception.
So Mike Hollis in for a short field goal attempt of 22 yards. And he bangs it through. And with 7:28 left in the 3rd quarter, Jacksonville is finally on the board, trailing by 7. This touchdown dance indicated by our graphic earlier by Mark Brunell. So they don't come away with 6 points. But they do come away with the 22-yard field goal officially by Hollis, and he kicks off back deep. Ellison and Bobby Joe Edmonds, and Edmonds gets it. And he is piled at the 24 by Corey Mayfield. So Tampa Bay with a 10-3 lead, and Mayfield still talking after the hit. And we'll be right back in a moment.
190-pound train leaves Tampa Bay at 2 o'clock, and a 300-pound train from Jacksonville leaves Jacksonville at 4. What's the payoff? What a hit. 302-pound Corey Mayfield making a big hit. I'm Bobby Joe Edmonds.
The old saying we learned from Houston a few weeks ago.
Chuck Cecil.
The hardest hitter in the league, perhaps Chuck Cecil. Sometimes you're the bug and sometimes you're the windshield. Edmonds was the bug. Tampa Bay begins at the 25. 1st and 10. They have a 10-3 lead. Trent Dilfer has started and has gone the distance in this one so far. In trouble now, trying to weave his way out of it. Does so, maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. But Kelvin Pritchett chased him down. Pritchett, a 1st-round pick by the Cowboys back in '91 before being traded to Detroit.
Well, we talked about Dilfer before. He really isn't looking for many receivers. This time he's had success with Harper. He looks to Harper right away. He's not open. He finds nobody else, and he's on the run.
2nd and 10. No gain on the scramble by Dilfer. And the give is to Rhett. And he is stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage by Smengi. Smengi, part of a trio of high-priced free agents, which totaled about $20 million, Bob. Lageman, who is out of the game with a foot injury, comes over from the Jets. Got Don Davey, the right tackle. He's in over from Green Bay. And Smengi, who played 5 years with the New Orleans Saints.
Dumas in from Buffalo.
So there are some players on this Jacksonville defense. Third down and 10. Dilfer steps up in the pocket, slings it out across the middle, across the 30. And Gurganius put the clamps on Dave Moore, and they're well short of the 1st down.
And Alvin Harper was deep and didn't look like he was covered too closely. But Dilfer really is focusing right in the short stuff, and you watch Harper working up there and just breaks it deep, uncovered. He's got a little space there between the 2 defenders. If Dilfer can find him, he can pick up some yardage, but he's satisfied at dumping the ball off.
Desmond Howard takes it at the 18, reverses his field. Beautiful move, gets across the 30. And turns a good Reggie Roby punt into a good return brought down by Derek Brooks. The Buccaneers in front by 7.
Isn't 90s technology marvelous? Look at the Hewlett-Packard Office Jet. A wonderful device allowing father to...
Great athletes from Cleveland St. Joe's. And Bob Golick and Desmond Howard. What a great move. We don't all come out with the same moves.
Only one of whom has won a Heisman, and I don't think there needs to be any more clarification than that.
Yes, let's just drop it, please.
You set it up. Desmond Howard back a little more healthy. He's been inactive a few games with an ankle. Returned for the first time in 3 games last week. Jacksonville needs him. 31-yard line getting the call as Stewart spinning his way up close to the 39-yard line. Brought down by Kenneth Gant.
Nice trap right up the middle. Beautifully set up. You're going to see the... I think it was 78 Mislinski. I couldn't get the number, but nice trap blocking right inside, open the middle wide open.
So second down and a couple. But a swift moving third quarter. Under 5 minutes left. Stewart right side, and he'll pick up the first down. So Jacksonville showing some signs of life on offense in the second half. I mentioned the huge offensive line up front by Jacksonville, second largest in the NFL, only behind the Cowboys, but it is the tallest. It averages 6 feet 6 inches, 312 pounds. And the big reason was Ben Coleman, who is inserted into that line. Baselli goes 323, but Coleman goes 335 at 6 feet 6. Brunell stands in behind that big offensive line, and once again he's got Pete Mitchell. Mitchell has turned in a couple of long receptions here in the second half.
And Brunell at 6 foot tall, who normally they feel is too short and can't see over these guys, finds a great viewing lane to drop the ball off to Mitchell.
And that is Ahanotu, slow in getting up.
Well, let's take a look at the play one more time. Mitchell, you're going to see over on the left side of your screen, just breaks at the outside. They're blitzing off of that corner. So the guy that was on Mitchell at the beginning, who was, I believe it was number 29, Kenneth Gant, left him alone, blitzed Brunell, leaving Mitchell enough room to break it open on the sideline.
All-time leading receiver at Boston College. Coughlin was well aware of his talents and picked him up in the trade we described earlier from the Dolphins. So the Jaguars at the 30 with another 1st and 10. 3:46 left in the third. Tampa Bay leads it 10-3. Play action by Brunell, looking downfield, and a nice catch at the 10-yard line by Jimmy Smith. Charles Dimry made the stop, but a flag is down.
And they're signaling holding.
And it may come back.
Holding.
And it will.
79, offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Again, number 79, Dave Wydell. Now, Wydell is a guy in a 4-man line. You're not usually covered, especially when in a pass rush situation. So you're the guy that kind of helps out. You're kind of on an island there. You can turn either way to help out, and a lot of times all offensive linemen do it. Let's put it this way: they all get their hands in there. They all get grabs on the people, and sometimes you just get caught. Sometimes it's a little more obvious than other times.
So bring back the huge Pete Mitchell game and bring it back to the 40-yard line. 1st and 20. That's a big penalty. But Brunell gets some of it back, and guess who? Mitchell. Without Willie Jackson, who's out with a knee injury, Pete Mitchell has turned into the favorite target of Mark Brunell. Martin Mayhew on the big tight end that time.
No, they've got some confidence now. Mitchell's just going to break it to the outside. Brunell's going to hit him in stride before he gets a separation from Derek Brooks. You're going to watch good protection up front. You get right there at Baselli, a very nice block, good leverage on the guy on the outside, but giving Brunell time. Brunell trying to get rid of the ball a little quicker, get rid of it a little quicker. It looks like.
So they get back 10. Mitchell has 3 catches for 51 yards. And right side they send Maston. And Maston is stopped. Santana Dotson involved in a little Tony Baselli skirmish there. Actually, that is 71. Yes, that's Dotson.
Santana standing over the top of Lachey Maston, just kind of taunting him a little bit. And Baselli, regardless of how old he is, how much experience he has, is going to stand there and say, "Listen, my teammate, you're not going to stand here and taunt him."
John Robinson called Baselli the best offensive lineman that he's ever coached at USC. And there have been a lot of great ones there.
I say, between Munoz and so many guys that have come out of their offensive line, it's an incredible statement.
Jaguars trying to convert the third down and 9, and they will pick it up. Pete Mitchell, his 4th catch, and he is just racking up big numbers. Clifton Abraham finally brought the big tight end down, but not before another big game.
And it's not like Mitchell's a burner or anything. Or again, he's just running the same route, but on the other side. He just comes up the field. He breaks it outside. He gets some separation from the back or on the inside. Brunell takes a little shot at the end of the play, but hey, he'll take that all day long if he can get completions like that.
15-yard gain by Mitchell. Jacksonville at the Buccaneer 15 with another 1st and 10. And stopped immediately in the backfield is Maston. And he'll lose some.
Well, Chidi Hanatu and it looked like Santana Dotson just slashing up inside. They're going for, you line up like that, they read pass, they're just attacking. And if they get the good penetration the way they did. 99 Warren Sapp was in there. Great read on Matson. Matson didn't even get a chance to turn his hips, to set his feet, anything to make a break from the line of scrimmage. It was a sitting duck.
So they lost about 5, 2nd down and 15. And Brunell in the air. Pete Mitchell is met at the 15, still on his feet inside the 10. He'll be short of the 1st down, but a great second effort by Mitchell, who just pounded a couple of Buccaneers to stay on his feet. Thomas Everett finally brought him down.
All they did, we were going to see Pete Mitchell, the tight end, right head of his screen, just drag it across underneath the linebackers. The linebackers signaling Hardy Nickerson, saying, hey, he's coming out. But Nickerson not focusing on making the hit. Nickerson comes in to make the tackle and knocks Martin Mayhew off the tackle, giving Mitchell a little bit more of a chance to run.
Jacksonville trails at 10-3, but they're on the move with 19 seconds left in the 3rd. In the early history of Jacksonville, Pete Mitchell, the very first receiver to go over 100 yards for Jacksonville, 108 on 6 catches.
You can see he's breathing rather rapidly. He's become the workhorse. They're putting him in a tight end, and he's working from the tight end position, and they're matching up against linebackers. And he just has the moves and the knowledge of finding those open spots between coverages more so than the wide receivers on the outside.
Look at that graphic. Pretty much a flip-flop of what transpired in the 1st half. Tampa Bay just 6 yards in this 2nd half, and there's only 19 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Remember, that big reception was taken back from Pete Mitchell on the hold by Wydell, and they've gotten it back into position on some big plays from Brunell to Mitchell.
9 seconds remaining. 09.
Gordon McCarter asking the clock to tick down to 9 seconds.
9 seconds.
Now there's 17. And, okay.
One more.
9 seconds.
There you go, Gordon.
I like how he left his speaker on the whole time. 9 seconds.
3rd down conversion attempt for Jacksonville, just 3 of 9 on the afternoon. They need about 4 yards. Tampa Stadium waking up. And they'll just let the time run out. So the 3rd quarter comes to a close. Jacksonville will head down to the other side of the field to see if they can get in. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Beginning of the 4th quarter in Tampa, the Buccaneers have a 10-3 lead, but Jacksonville trying to tie it. They have 3rd down and 4, ball at the 9-yard line of the Buccaneers. And Brunell will run it in for the touchdown. Brunell getting up a little gingerly, but the Jaguars have their first touchdown.
Now he dropped back. Jimmy Smith was in a pattern on the right-hand side. He looked to him first. When he didn't see him, looked to the middle, covered again with Givens, took it on his own. As I said many times, he is the guy that is going to do that. And as this third quarter progressed, had gotten more confidence, not just in his throwing ability, but in his ability to pick the times when he should best run.
Leading rusher on the team, also leading rusher for touchdowns. Mike Hollis trying to tie it up at 10. And that splits the uprights. Not a lot of offense between the Jaguars and Buccaneers, but shaping up into an interesting game, tied at 10 early in the fourth. Afternoon, about 75 degrees, and a good game tied at 10 as the Jaguars, after trailing 10-0 at halftime, have come back to tie it early in the fourth quarter. Hollis had a 22-yard field goal in third, and Mark Brunell's 9-yard touchdown scamper has tied it at 10, 8 seconds into the fourth.
Well, we saw Brunell get up kind of gingerly after the touchdown, and now we're watching Berline warming up on the sideline, so we'll have to see how that story progresses.
And when they do get on offense, Horace Copeland is doubtful to return. He has a bruised shoulder for Tampa Bay. Now coming up on a short kick from the 24 is Bobby Joe Edmonds, and he's up to the 38. 14-yard kickoff return by Edmonds. The tackle made by McManus.
We see the touchdown one more time. Brunell looking to Smith to the right, looks to Givens covered in the middle, makes the break, takes it on his own, gives a little pump fake to try and hold the defenders back in their coverage. Just makes it in, but takes a shot there, and it looked like he did his little hook slide into the end zone, but it might have twisted his hip. Looks like he's kind of working on his hip on the side over there a little bit.
There is Berline, the backup to Brunell. Of course, he was the starter in the preseason before Brunell looked so effective and was inserted into the starting lineup. Dilfer, the quarterback for Tampa Bay, with a drop on first down, and this one is dropped right in front of him. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if anybody got a hand on it, but Tampa Bay does recover.
Well, it looked like he had a kind of a pump fake, and as he did the pump fake, he wasn't able to get his hand back, and the ball just slips out of his hand. That's exactly what it was. It's just an incomplete pass. Well, the fans are very quick to respond to anything that Trent Dilfer does.
You made an interesting point earlier, Bob. As Trent pointed out, this is just my 13th start. He says, I can't wait until I get up to the 30, 31, 32 starts like Rick Meyer and Drew Bledsoe.
Right.
Still early in his NFL starting career as Eric Rett gets the call.
But you also have to wonder and perhaps question why, or putting in these young quarterbacks and putting so much responsibility on them so soon. You see a guy like Meyer in Seattle, Bledsoe in New England. All these guys have had some early success when people didn't understand them, didn't know what to expect, and but as they figured them out, it became much more difficult and a lot of pressure. And you're wondering what kind of damage to the psyche of these young quarterbacks are they facing by being thrown against this top-notch defenses right away.
Well, you saw Mark Brunell, a hamstring injury, and he will not return. So Berline will be the quarterback for Jacksonville. Dilfer with a rare scramble for the first down. It looked a little Brunell-esque.
Well, he's just not having any luck finding open receivers, and believe me, there are some open receivers, but in the past and early in this game, he's had openings to run and just hasn't taken them. Now he's decided that he's going to have to make some moves on his own to pick up some yardage. Once again, just kind of weaving his way through the defenders. Nice little juke there. But as Brunell found out, when you start to dive, you slide feet first. That's something Trent Dilfer will pick up very quickly too.
Squarely at midfield for Tampa Bay. And Eric Rett just maybe a yard, and that is all. That'll bring up second down and a long 9. Gogenius with the tackle.
Number 92, Don Davey, though, good penetration to get into the backfield just as he's making his cut. Then Gogenius coming up and finishing it off the play. Good penetration by that front, especially Davey. Davey all day long has really been a guy that's been slashing into the offensive front of the Buccaneers.
Dilfer fakes. Wide open on the far sideline is Dawsey. And Dawsey has the first down. Vinnie Clark on the coverage.
And Dawsey was wide open for a little while. It was the defensive backs, the coverage were starting to close in on him. And Dilfer finally got a look at where he was. You see Dawsey's going to be over to the right out there by the yard marker, standing all by himself. Nice route, it had to be a break in the coverage.
Third round pick out of Florida State in '91, led the Buccaneers in receiving last year despite missing 6 games. Jackie Harris has taken over the leading receiver role, but he is out in this game. Near side, Harper, who had a big first half, falls in another one. Mickey Washington wraps him up out of bounds.
Well, this is what they said they're going to do early in the game, and now maybe they got to go back to it. They've got to find a way to get Trent Dilfer some confidence, because he certainly doesn't have it to this point. The little short passes right here, the little dump to Harper, some things that you know are going to have a higher percentage of completion, and is going to give the quarterback the confidence.
Last year, his 24.5 yards per catch average was the best in the NFL. Second down and short, 2 yards for Dilfer. And Rett will pick it up. He's inside the 20. First down for Tampa Bay. And Rett inching closer to another 100-yard gain. Don Davey on the stop.
Well, they say when you run the ball, who do you like to run behind? He said Ian Beckles, and that's exactly who he ran over. Beckles at 6'1", 304 pounds. He said, we asked him why. He goes, hey, he's big, he's low to the ground, he's powerful, he just drives people out of there. And that's exactly what they did that time, went right behind Beckles.
And Rett again, left side, inside the 15, pounds his way inside the 10. Close to another first down. Don't believe he got it. Gogenius very active again on the stop for Jacksonville.
Good job by Rett, and again a good block by Dave Moore, number 83. You're going to see come in motion, and he's going to wall Smengi out to the outside, giving Rett that little alley to cut back up inside. Dave Moore, as we said before, plays a fullback, plays a tight end, but really is an exceptional blocker and has done a great job today.
Second down and 2, and he's right in front of Rett. Dilfer says, over there. An audible. Dilfer at the line of scrimmage. That is Dawsey to the near side, and they just get the play off. Rett takes it up the middle, and he's got the first down close to the 5-yard line. First and goal for Tampa Bay, and a very impressive drive.
Well, Jim Pine, the left offensive guard, fired off, got down into Davies' feet, keeping him kind of bowed the defensive line, gave Rett a nice little area to pop his way through.
9:20 and counting left in the game. Tampa Bay and Jacksonville tied at 10. Buccaneers have not scored since the second quarter. Close to another score here. And Rett stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Brian Schwartz, the rookie out of Augustana, making the stop, and they are very impressed with him, especially against the run up front.
Right, he's a big run stopper. They've really had to make some moves over there. I mean, we watched them last week. They lose Santos Stevens, so he's out, who is a regular outside linebacker on the left side. Mark Williams is a backup. They lose him today to injury. Keith Gogenius had been playing the middle. They moved him over to outside backer to give them some help out there, giving Schwartz the middle linebacker position. So they've really had to bounce some guys around, but the one consistency they like in the run game is Schwartz.
Well, that is Ernie Logan, who is down. And remember Jeff Lageman. is a foot injury, and he is out. We'll be right back.
Deep dish pizza, because when it's gotta be deep, it's gotta be Domino's.
Injuries beginning to mount up for Jacksonville. That is Ernie Logan being helped off the field. And that is Willie Jackson, who we told earlier, out with a knee injury. He's a starting wide receiver, the leading receiver. The starting quarterback is lost. Mark Brunell out with a hip injury. And there is Mark Williams. He is the starting linebacker. Dislocated shoulder. He's gone. So Jacksonville really undermanned, depleted by the injuries as Tampa Bay tries to put the finishing touches on this drive. Dilfer with a fake pass right. Rhett trying to weave his way in. Rhett's second touchdown of the day, and Coughlin not happy about it at all. Pretty good call, Bob.
Pretty good call. You know, first of all, you're losing a guy up front to an injury. And, you know, so you're getting new people in. As you see the little pump fake, almost kind of the old Statue of Liberty almost. A little pump fake, gives it to Red, who bounces it back to the outside. But you lose a guy to injury up front. You've lost a couple of guys. You've got some different people playing in the front line. They're not into the flow of the game, the rhythm of the game. You can hit them with a trick play like that.
Husted drives it through. And with 8:11 left in the game, Tampa Bay pulls ahead to a 17-10 lead. Has taken a lot of heat this week. We mentioned earlier that morning headline in the local paper today talking about perhaps if Sam Weiss will be around after the season. The owner, Malcolm Glazer, is saying that there'll be no changes made during the season, but you're at home against an expansion team. That's pretty much a must-win, especially for an embattled coach. As Jacksonville brings it out across the 22-yard line. That was Curtis Marsh. Kenneth Gant makes the stop for Tampa Bay.
So this was a good call for Sam Weiss, and catching them kind of flat-footed. You're going to see Dilfer with a little pump fake. Statue of Liberty back around the other side. Gruber pulling out, make a nice block on Schmengi. Eric Rhett right into the end zone untouched. And you can see Coughlin expected a little bit more out of his defense than what they got on that play.
So a new quarterback. It is Steve Berline in place of the injured Mark Brunell, and he's on the mark right away to the favorite receiver of the Jaguars today, Pete Mitchell.
Well, that's one of the things that happened in this preseason, coming in and during the early part of the season. It was Berline, it was Brunell. It was Berline, it was Brunell. It was one of these situations where we said early in the season, hey, regardless of who you choose, you have to pick one. You've got a young team that's trying to develop a chemistry and kind of formulate that chemistry around one guy, around one leader, and you're not letting it happen. Of course, we didn't say that to Tom, but we kind of said it amongst ourselves.
If anything else can go wrong, Bob, Pete Mitchell is down on the Tampa Bay sideline.
Well, he's kind of been taken, and see the Tampa Bay Buccaneer people are waving their team to the sidelines there, but he has been taking a beating. I mean, they've really been keying on him. He's been the guy that's the go-to guy, catching a lot of passes. But when you catch the passes, especially underneath, you're starting to take a lot of big hits from safeties flying up and from the linebackers.
Well, that is good news already without Willie Jackson, the leading receiver. Pete Mitchell, who's over 100 yards today, first time in Jaguar history. Not that it's a long history, but there are the numbers for Pete Mitchell. And Steve Berline taking over for Mark Brunell. 3 starts for Berline. Lost the job versus Pittsburgh. And then really hasn't played since the Houston game on October 11th. He was the first pick in the expansion draft from the Cardinals. Started all preseason, was the starter going in before Brunell took over the job. But Brunell is done for the day, and it's up to Berline to try to bring back the Jaguars, who trail it by 7 with 7.5 minutes to go. And give to Dunbar, and Dunbar with a good aggressive run up to the 40-yard line, brought down by Wydell Rouse.
And did you see Berline right away? It shows his experience as a quarterback, having spent time with the Raiders, with the Cardinals. He gets up to the line of scrimmage on his second play, and he's making audible calls. He's seeing something in the defense, making changes at the line, and opens up a nice play off the left tackle.
Second down and 4 for Berline. He'll go to the air again. This one deflect with the line of scrimmage, but caught by Maston. That was a Hanatu, I believe, who tipped the pass at the line of scrimmage, and it was up for grabs before Maston got the ball.
Yeah, Maston was not very far from Hanatu. I mean, right in front of him. Hanatu making a nice step, but Maston getting the ball. I don't know if he wanted to catch the ball with all those guys around him, but good awareness at knowing where the ball is and going up and getting it and not allowing the defenders to get it.
So with all the injuries they've had all game long, finally Jacksonville blessed with a little bit of luck there, but still third down and 5 because that pass was up for grabs. And Berline being pressured from the left side, and they'll stop the play. A flag has just been thrown at the 35. And Jacksonville did not get the playoff. And another costly penalty for Tom Coughlin.
You know, Tom's we talked to him yesterday, and his thing is, you got a lot of young guys who are just trying to develop some kind of a chemistry. You got older guys who are trying to fit themselves in a new system, and a lot of times you're just not in sync, regardless of what kind of talent you have. You just haven't time to put yourself in sync as a team.
3rd and 10 from the 34. And Berline over the head of Ernest Givens, incomplete. I bring up 4th down and a punting unit for Jacksonville. So Berline's first series will end with a punt.
He had to lay it up there, and he had to put it out kind of out of his reach and hope that Givens could get it, because Magruder was right on with the coverage, right there to make the play. He put it up about the only place he could put it for Givens, and hope that Givens' talent and ability would be able to get him up and get it.
5.5 minutes left, and you can bet Tampa Bay will go to the run game on this series, take some time off the clock, and try to milk it down with a 7-point lead. They'll mark this out of bounds just across the 30-yard line. We'll be right back. Great movies coming up on NBC, not starring Sean Bowens in the split screen. Home Alone, The Mighty Ducks, Dennis the Menace, and Jurassic Park. Home Alone's Friday night, Mighty Ducks Saturday night, Dennis the Menace Saturday night, Sunday night, the mega hit Jurassic Park. You get the message. It's a great Thanksgiving extravaganza.
I think Bowens would have fit into Jurassic Park, though. He kind of had that. That's a guy I would have hung with when I was playing.
Anyway, there's 4 great movies on Thanksgiving Day weekend on NBC. Tampa Bay trying to eat some clock. Eric Rett to the 35-yard line. See if we can get an up. That should take Eric Rett close to the 100-yard mark. So it appears he will have the second 100-yard game of this season and the 3rd of his career. We're still waiting for the official yardage for Eric Rett. And we just got it, and he's got 100 yards. Second down and 8 for Tampa Bay. And Bobby Joe Edmonds with the call. You saw him earlier. Well, Eric Rett had the 144-yard day last week, second best of his career. And he's got 100 today. And he's also got the 2 touchdowns for Tampa Bay. 7th 100-yard rushing game of his career. You might remember that he ended the season last year with a string of 100-yard games. And always in jeopardy is the 125-yard mark, which means $1,000 to each of his offensive linemen. So we'll be tracking that the rest of this game. Dilfer's pass looped over the arms of Dave Moore. And that'll bring up 4th down. Not what you wanted to do if you're Tampa Bay. Jacksonville's got plenty of time to take a march here with 4:05 left.
You're right. And again, he's unchallenged on the bootleg here. Just has to put a nice touch on the ball to get it up to Moore, and can't do it. Once again, he's trying a little bit too hard. All his shots, all his balls are coming a little bit high when he has to put some finesse on them.
Reggie Roby punting it away to Desmond Howard, and they're going to pin Jacksonville back deep at the 4-yard line. Maybe Desmond should have fielded that if he had another shot.
You see Curtis Buckley downs it out of bounds and then just pulls it back inbounds, sets it on about the 1.5-yard line, goes, okay, right here's good. Right here's good.
Had a low trajectory on it. It appeared that Howard had some time to grab that.
Right now has 3 touchdown passes. This one to Carson Hughes, running into the end zone for the Bengal lead. Jeff George finds our Metcalf.
56-yard punt by Roby. So just under 4 minutes left. Jacksonville trailing 17-10. They're trying to break a 2-game losing streak. Tampa Bay trying to break a 3-game losing streak. It is the battle between North and Central Florida. Bob Golick on the line. And Burline's pass caught at the 16-yard line by Ernest Gibbons. Good concentration by the former Oiler to haul it in. It was tipped.
And Magruder played well. Magruder got in there and got his hand on it. Burline throws a pretty hard ball, though. Look at that, Magruder. Nice play. Good reaction. Good reaction for Gibbons. Again, we talk about his experience in the past, having worked, caught a lot of different times. Here you see Burline not real happy with the throw. Knows he kind of threw it into a potentially dangerous situation had there been an interception there, but Gibbons saving the day.
And on the ground, Maston, left side, short of the 20. Ernest Gibbons trying to put on a big show for the fans he has in the stands. More than 65 family and friends showed up here in Tampa today. Ernest, we're going to high school here in the Bay Area.
And you know, they've talked about this, saying, boy, what a great intrastate rivalry that they have here. You know, and they're going, you know, they're going to have this going on for a number of years. But the reality is, because they're in different conferences, they're probably not going to hook up again until, I think, like 97, 98. And it's a shame because the proximity of the two cities and the relationship of the two cities, you'd think that they could eventually establish the type of relationship that you used to see with a Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Thanksgiving Day at the special time of 3:30 Eastern Time. Join the NFL on NBC when the Chiefs battle the Cowboys. This is really shaping up to be one of the best games of the year, if not the best of the year. You've got Ditka, Gibbs, along with Gumbel and Rashad as the hosts. They preview the big game. We'll also speak with a couple of Smiths. Dallas's Emmett and Kansas City's Neal. That's 3:30 Eastern Time. Thanksgiving Day. Jacksonville trying to come back from a 7-point deficit. Burline with time. Now he runs out of it. And down he goes at the 19. Todrick McIntosh with his second sack of the season. 7th round pick by Dallas last year, paying dividends for Tampa Bay today.
Good rush up front. You see Todrick's coming around their outside. See Ahanotu come in, but Todrick McIntosh around the outside took it way deep coming back from the outside. And Kaufman obviously very upset. But the reality was all the receivers were in deep, deep routes. Burline had to sit there and wait and wait and wait for these guys to break it open.
3rd and 7. Burline's got the first down, and it's Pete Mitchell. Mitchell well over 100 yards today. He's had every key reception for Jacksonville. Thomas Everett finally knocked him out of bounds, but he's all the way up to the 41.
Boy, they got lucky here. Watch 67, the right guard holding, pulling him down there, and they don't catch it with the completion to Mitchell. Again, it would have been, had they seen that hold, once again it would have been Pete Mitchell, a big pass called back.
.223 left. Jacksonville has 2 of its timeouts left. Burline in relief of Brunel has another completion. Ernest Gibbons has another first down for Jacksonville, and he's at the Tampa Bay 45. Mike Magruder on the stop as we approach the 2-minute warning. And time still ticking off as we do hit the 2-minute warning before Jacksonville's able to get another playoff. They trail by 7. Comes an NBC movie event, Dead by Sunset. Ken Olin stars in this world premiere movie based on a shocking true story. Parental discretion is advised. Jacksonville trying to stay alive at the 2-minute warning, trailing Tampa Bay 17-10. Steve Burline has been playing since the beginning of the 4th quarter for the injured Mark Brunel and trying to engineer this comeback. From the shotgun, complete. And that is Jimmy Smith and another Jacksonville first down. Martin Mayhew on the stop.
Good play. You can see over to the right-hand side. He had Gibbons short, drawing up number 21's coverage, Magruder's coverage, and being able to get the ball into Smith right behind him before the safety can come over and make the play.
Pete Mitchell has 8 catches for 140 yards. I guess Tom Coughlin knew a little bit of something about him at Boston College. He has had a huge day. Jacksonville with a 1st and 10 inside the 30. Burline scrambling, and he's got another man, and it's Mitchell at the 21. Short of the first down, but add more yards to Pete Mitchell's totals.
And we talked about Mitchell before and really having a knack in the whole beginning of this game at finding nice open zones, opening up underneath, and right there in the scramble, once again, he finds an open spot to fall into.
2nd down and short. Burline with plenty of time. Now he's got to get rid of it, but not in time. He gets sacked. And Coughlin, calling a timeout, stops it with 1:14. Ahanatu in for his 2nd sack of the day.
Well, it's good awareness for a quarterback when he's being pressured from the outside to step up in the pocket. You know, and that shows good poise, and that shows good awareness of being able to control. You're going to see him here step up. But you got to remember is that the guys that you stepped up in front of are still coming from behind. And they want you bad because you made them look bad at the beginning. So Burline gets tracked down from the backside, and you just can't stand back there that long.
There is a God.
And his name
Cheaty.
And we told the story why he was named Cheaty, because he was the 2nd boy born to his father, and his father was so excited that there was another boy born in the family that they said, hey, there is a God, that there was 2 boys born to my family.
That's what it means in Nigerian. And so the Jags faced with a 3rd and 3. They have 1 timeout left, 1:14 left. And Burline has been perfect on this drive. There's Brunel watching from the sidelines, hurt on the touchdown run. Burline's pass deflected before it had a chance to get to Jimmy Smith. Hardy Nickerson got a paw on it, and that'll bring up 4th down and the play of the game.
Well, that was just right place, right time for Hardy Nickerson to drop back into his zone, and I guess Burline just didn't see him fading into that zone as he tried to rifle the ball into Jimmy Smith.
They need 3 yards.
This is the play.
get the first down. That is Desmond Howard. Clock ticking under a minute.
Well, Mayhew was working against Howard. Howard beat him to the inside. Mayhew got up, complaining to the referee. I think he's thinking that Desmond Howard may have pushed off.
1st and 10 from the 12. This time, Burline to the end zone. Touchdown, Pete Smith. Pete Mitchell with a touchdown for Jacksonville.
And who better to go to?
Nine catches, 152 yards for Mitchell. None bigger than that strike. And now Mike Hollis will come on to try to tie it up. How impressive has Burline been?
Well, looks like the Buccaneers are calling a timeout. Well, let's take a look at the touchdown one more time. The person who really has been so instrumental to the Jacksonville Jaguars this whole game, Pete Mitchell, just making a move right over the middle versus Clifton Abraham, of no less, the defensive back, just finding a nice little opening. Tom Coughlin very excited. Burline.
Steve Burline lost his job to Mark Brunell earlier, but it's turning out into the big hero here along with Pete Mitchell.
Well, Burline's back in. It looks like they might be going for 2 points.
What do you think of this call, Bob?
Well,
don't you kick it?
You know what? You're an expansion team. You're not expected to win many games.
On the road.
On the road.
Okay.
You know what? Give it to Coughlin. Give him the benefit of the doubt here. Hey, gutsy move. You're fighting in tough with a team that is still a playoff contender. Let's see how it goes.
Very gutsy move by Jacksonville. And did they get it? No. Jimmy Smith was out of bounds. He made a nice catch, but the 2-point conversion fails, and it appears the Jaguar rally will. That was Burline looking up at the diamond vision to get another look. Here's another look.
Well, good coverage on Smith. You're just going to see the ball he had to throw it hard because the coverage is closing quickly, but
got to get 2 down.
Yeah, you see not even the first foot came down.
Yep.
Coughlin just despondent and knows that they have a chance for that win. And Steve Burline, I mean, he knows he felt that the coverage collapsing. He had to dump it in there quick. Unfortunately, led just a little bit too much. Good job by Steve Burline, though, on that drive. I know he could care less about any of the plays that happened before that one, though, right now.
So the call by Coughlin, gutsy, but backfiring. They don't get it. And with 37 seconds left and with 1 timeout,
Tampa Bay will bring out their hands team, and Jacksonville will try an onside kick it.
There's the offensive coordinator, Kevin Gilbride, talking with Burline. Marvelous performance by him. Sits on the bench all game long. Hasn't played in several games. Comes in the 4th quarter and was just about perfect through the air.
You know what, Dan? I watched him during the game, too, because I've known Steve for a number of years. We were roommates back with the Raiders. And the entire game, he kept going to Brunell, kept working with him. And I know that early on he was very disappointed in the fact that Brunell had replaced him as a starter. But Steve, being a professional that he is, stepped in and really said, you know what, I'm going to help this kid out.
Well, Tampa Bay has just called a timeout, each team with 1 left. And the game summary, we look at Eric Rett. He's got the 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns for Tampa Bay. Brunell with a hamstring injury early in the fourth quarter on his 9-yard touchdown run. Pete Mitchell, 152 yards in receiving. And the one big touchdown there that gave the Jaguars a chance to win it. But then they went for two, missed it. And that's where we stand at 17-16 Tampa Bay. The standings coming in to today. And we can tell you that Detroit is beating Chicago. Actually, that is a final 24-17. So Detroit is now 5-6. Green Bay has beaten Cleveland by a final of 31-20. So Green Bay will have first place in the NFC Central.
Tampa will now be tied with Chicago
at 6-5. So the Buccaneers looking like they're going to snap a 3-game losing streak. There's been some wild games this year. This is not over yet, as Hollis will attempt the onside kick for the Jaguars. Bounces it up. Ball is loose. Still loose. And Jacksonville has it. Unbelievable. Coughlin will get another chance. It looked like Dave Thomas recovered it for Jacksonville. Believe this.
Well, one of the hands guys for Tampa Bay came up quickly to make just to attack the ball as it came in. You're going to say, I think it's the third guy from the outside, second guy from the outside comes in, and the ball ricochets off of him right into the hands. Right. Clifton Abraham was the one that the ball ricocheted off of, right into the hands of Dave Thomas.
So Jacksonville with some life and one timeout. They're at their own 42-yard line. 36 seconds left. Trailing 17-16. And Bullrun is picked off. Martin Mayhew.
Well, Steve Berline knows he shouldn't have thrown that one. Mayhew was planted. He was planted right there. On the right side of your screen, Berline searching the field, goes to the last receiver he finds, and Mayhew really had beautiful position. I can't believe that Steve didn't see that. I'm sure that as the ball was leaving his fingertips, he realized that Mayhew was going to be a major threat. We see the reaction of despair in Steve Berline's face.
Third interception of the season for Mayhew, and it's really a shame. Berline had played so well, rallying Jacksonville back. They missed the two-point conversion. They get the onside kick back. They've got another opportunity, and Mayhew picks it off, and that'll be the final play of the game as Tampa Bay and Sam Weish improved to 6-5. Another disappointing loss for Tom Coughlin and the Jaguars. They lose their third straight and fall to 3-8. And we will have some final words here from Tampa Stadium in a moment as the Buccaneers win it by 5.